Thoughts, September 5th, 2019. Well, it's been a month since I uploaded a video, and I just want everybody to not get worried, people that are checking in, seeing how I'm doing. I've connected this YouTube channel to my book authors page on Amazon, so it's possible that people would be curious, the author of the books that they're reading, how he's doing and what he's like and so forth. So I'm going to try to update this fairly regularly. The last month has been a little bit crazy here in Cavite province in the Philippines. The fun thing is we had a visitor. Okay, so the visitor was a friend of mine from Texas that knew my wife. His wife is also a Filipina, and they're good friends, his wife and my wife. And I just, barely met the guy. But we've got all these weird things in common. So I've got a French lineage in my ancestry, and the French language just kind of came natural to me. I'm not fluent by any means, but I love singing French folk songs to my kids that I uploaded here. And I do have a basic working knowledge of kind of a tourist French that gets me around France without a problem. When I was working at the retail store, I loved running into the French tourists or the winter Texans that come down to escape the winter in Canada, the French-speaking Quebecois. I'd love speaking with them in French, and they were always surprised, and they always complimented me on my French. So he is planning on retiring in France, and anyway, we've got these odd connections. And so he came to the Philippines, but his wife couldn't get time off. So he had business here, and he was here on a business trip, and he made a side trip to Samar, which is where she's from, to drop off gifts and visit with her family. But he wanted to stay the night and visit. So he came by and stayed the night and visited, and we had just a small kind of little conflict because he was really didn't want to put anybody out, and that's the way Americans are. You don't want to put somebody out by your visit. You don't want to cause a fuss or anything. So my wife's sister is an RN. She gave up her room so he could sleep in a nice bed, and this is a pretty nice bed. Actually, I'm sitting on her bed right now. She's working a night shift while I'm recording this, and so he slept in here, and she slept on the floor in the other room on a pretty comfortable mattress. As a matter of fact, that's where I was planning on sleeping. I wanted to sleep on the floor. She would sleep with my wife and the two kids, okay, a 3-year-old and a 6-month-old. The problem is she's a nurse, so she gets really wiped out and she needs to sleep. And sometimes my 3-year-old gets up in the middle of the night and wants a bottle. Yes, he still drinks a bottle at night. I know. Anyway, she really doesn't want to get woken up. When she sleeps, she's out of it. So even that one night, she'd rather sleep on the floor than have to get woken up to feed my 3-year-old his bottle. Anyway, so he didn't want her to sleep on the floor. My God, I'll sleep on the floor. It's a pretty comfortable mattress, which it is actually on the floor. So anyway, it was fun, and I had to explain to him that the way the Filipinos work with their hospitality, it's good to do things like this, to give up your bed for a guest. And that was one thing that really impressed me when I married into a Filipino family, is they would sleep on the floor, my in-laws, when we would come to visit, because they only had a 1-bedroom apartment. And that always shocked me, because when we'd visit my parents, we'd sleep on the floor. My parents aren't giving up their bed. Are you crazy? And it was just really amazing, that you think of others first before yourself. It's just in the psychology. And little things like that kind of bring these differences to light, really. And it's really kind of a meditation I've had since he left about that. How nice it is to be connected to my wife's extended family. So when he's leaving, I could take off with my 3-year-old who loves to go for drives in the car. He likes counting the cranes on the skyline, and he loves going into Manila. So we drove my friend back to the airport to drop him off, and I got a little bit turned around around the airport. Had trouble finding the skyway to come back, and finally I saw signs for Alabang, and that's it. That's the highway back to where I live. So we made it back, but it's fun, My wife's niece volunteered to come along with us to help with my 3-year-old because it's difficult, being on the highway speeds. You got a 3-year-old who has the capability to open the car door, so it's good, Have that extended family. There's always somebody to help you out, no matter what it is you need. It's beautiful. The weather here's just been beautiful lately. My goodness, the dogs are barking right now. We've got the windows, the doors open, air's blowing through. It's just wonderful. The temperature is probably maybe around 25, like maybe 74 degrees, something like that. Nice and cool. Even my friend from Texas, when he was here, he was sleeping without air conditioning. Just totally comfortable at night. Really nice. Definitely not uncomfortable. Saturday, I've got an appointment with a cardiologist, and I've got a little bit of a bad heart, and that's part of my motivation for publishing these books before they're really polished. Putting up a lot of these YouTube videos, clearly unprofessionally done. I just want to get this stuff out there, just in case I pass away. I want to leave all this stuff for my son, and that's part of the reason for the books and all of it. It's just the Texas Independence book was my project, okay? But the Atlantis and these other books that are coming up are a little bit of stuff for my son, just so he's going to get to know me and my thoughts. I come from kind of a long line of writers. My mom and my dad both wrote a couple of different books, just circulated among the family, bound together by Kinko's copies in the U.S., just for family. My mother's father, though, published a lot of books, more than 7, I think. But anyway, that's the update. Just wanted to let you know everything's going good. I'll try and have at least a weekly update once in a while, let you know how everything's going. Our budget is still right around 80,000 pesos a month. I think there's been months that we've gotten close to 100,000 pesos, but you have to remember there's 2 kids here, okay? One of them is 6 months old and still getting monthly checkups with the doctor and vaccines and everything. And that's like 2,000 pesos a visit, okay? It's a little bit expensive. But we don't have insurance, so we're not paying that insurance premium, so... the other thing is there's oil change. We're going to have to get tires for the car. There's gas. I've got this visit with the doctor. I had to pay a couple of thousand pesos for my echocardiogram to check my heart. And I've got a visit with the doctor on Saturday. Also on Saturday, we found out the pet store has a veterinary clinic from 2 to 5 on Saturdays. They have a veterinarian there at the pet store. So I can get shots and deworming and the little chemical drops for the fleas for our kitten. I adopted a kitten. I've got a soft heart for cats. It's hard, There's cats that abandon kittens, and I've had 3 cats in my life. All of them were adopted because they were abandoned kittens. All 3 of them. One at the fire station, one at a friend of mine's house from the retail store I worked at, and the third one is this one. And I feel like they adopt me because they just come right up to me and won't let me go, So anyway, adopted the kitten, and it's really a little bit of a mess. So that's going to be, a couple of thousand more pesos. So our budget's like right around 80,000 pesos a month, but it's touching up to close to 100,000 pesos a month sometimes. But there's 4 adults and 2 kids living here, so Also, the other day, my wife was craving steak, and we found a really good steakhouse in Bacoor. Really good. Uh, Best steaks I've had since I left Texas. Really. Well, take care, everybody. Hope you have a good day. Everything's going well here in Cavite. Take care.